So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you guys are. Guys, make sure to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the video as always, guys. So guys, breaking news. Demetrius Andrade has officially vacated his WBO middleweight title, and Janibek is now a world champion. I'm not a big fan of guys becoming world champions by being handed over the belt. I think you should be able to fight for it. I mean, I think you should fight for it. Obviously, it's not his fault that Andrade didn't want to defend his belt. So, the rules are the rules, but I would have preferred for him being the number one contender fighting the number two contender for the belt. And this way, you can say you won the belt in the ring. It's not his fault the champion didn't want to defend his belt. There's not much he can do about that. So Janibek now is a world champion, and it's great for the middleweight division because the middleweight division moves on, and hopefully we can get some unification fights. And Janibek is from Kazakhstan, I believe, and Janibek has said that he doesn't want to fight Golovkin. That obviously there's an opportunity now for the middleweight division to move forward because obviously Andrade and Charlo seem like they were holding the belts hostage. I mean, they're not fighting anybody. They're not fighting each other. Golovkin at least fought Murata. Janibek now is going to be willing to fight Charlo, and he was willing to fight Andrade. Whether they'd be willing to fight him, I'm not sure. But I think, obviously, it's not a good look for Demetrius Andrade. I said this in previous videos. Him moving up and vacating the belt, I don't know how that looks in terms of a credibility standpoint for him. He's a guy that, has been in obscurity for majority of his career, never managed to get any big fights. This was a fight which a lot of people thought would be a 50-50 fight, or maybe some people thought that Janibek at this point in Andrade's career may have beat him. But unfortunately, Andrade has moved up and he's going to take on probably Zach Parker, which I don't know. It's not a fight that I'm that interested in because it's another one of the same kind of level of fights that Andrade's been involved in. And it's a fight that he'll win pretty comfortably. But the most important thing is for a division, I think the middleweight division now can move forward, hopefully. And we can eventually, if Gennady Golovkin does retire, we can get guys that actually want to fight each other. And we can hopefully see one fighter become undisputed, because that's what I feel is important for every weight division. I think we need to have fighters that are champions willing to fight each other, so we can see one champion in a division and one undisputed champion. I think having 4 belts means that there's multiple champions and we don't know who the best is in the division. Obviously, it's made the sport a lot more interesting, and there's more money for these fighters because there's 4 fighters that are saying they're champions if there's 4 different belt holders in a division. So it gives them more opportunity of becoming a world champion and calling themselves a world champion. But at the same time, it's also bad because we don't get to see these guys fight one another on a consistent basis. And I would prefer to see, now that Janibek's a champion, I would like to see Janibek fight Charlo. I'd like to see Janibek fight Golovkin, or if Golovkin retires, whoever, fights for those 2 belts. I mean, I would like to see Janibek fight those guys. So, yeah, hopefully we can come closer to an undisputed champion. I'm very intrigued to see what Charlo does. What is Charlo going to do now as well? Because what fights are there for Charlo if Golovkin does retire after the Canelo fight? What's going to be left for Charlo? I mean, I don't know. So hopefully these guys can all start fighting each other. But yeah, breaking news about Janibek and Andrade. Janibek is the fully crowned WBO middleweight champion of the world. What do you guys make of that? What do you guys make of a guy not fighting for a belt and being given a belt? Although the champion didn't want to defend his belt, do you think the number 1 and number 2 should have to contend for that title in the ring? I'm just so disappointed. I'm so disappointed because I was actually looking forward to Janibek and Andrade, and the fight's not going to happen now. It's pretty depressing. I mean, depressing in the sense that, Janibek, I actually think Andrade at his best probably would have beaten Janibek, but, Andrade just didn't want to take that tough fight. He looked at it as a risk. He didn't want no parts of it, which, fair play if that's how he wants to look at his career. Some of you are saying, well, Canelo ducked Andrade, this, that. But Canelo fought guys on a similar level to Andrade. I mean, Caleb Plant's on a similar level to Andrade. Billy Joe's on a similar level. Billy Joe was a 2-division world champion, undefeated. What? You know, Callum Smith, similar level. I mean, Andrade ain't done anything more than those guys, you know, and he's not looked that impressive in his fights as well. I mean, he's looked pretty poor of late. If we honor Williams, he didn't look that great against maybe a C level fighter, you know. Williams is a decent fighter, nothing more than that. And he didn't look that spectacular, went 12 rounds, got wobbled a little bit. I mean, I wasn't that impressed by that performance at all, you know. It's a bit like Joshua against Andy Ruiz. I mean, Joshua won every round, but I don't think he looked impressive in that fight. And when you step up against the next tier, like he did against Usyk, then, you know, those vulnerabilities that showed against the elite, you'll get found out. And that's basically, I haven't seen. I'm disappointed because I'm not even saying Janibek is an elite fighter because he's not really that proven. But he would have been probably Andrade's toughest test to date. And I think some of you keep saying he's had 12 fights or 14 fights. I think that just tells you all you need to know about Andrade's resume. That a guy that a lot of people think that probably a guy with 12 or 14 fights would probably be his toughest test. It's just really disappointing, really, really disappointing, because I think the opportunities for Andrade probably would have been at middleweight. I think at super middleweight, I can't see him getting any big fights because who's going to fight him, really? You know, he's trying to chase Canelo again, but that's not going to happen. But the main thing is the middleweight division now. Hopefully we can get one face, one name as the undisputed middleweight champion of the world. And I think that's what we as fight fans should want. We want champions to fight champions. And that's what makes the sport better. When champions fight the best, champions fight each other. Let's see. Let's see how this middleweight division now pans out. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.